Back in the 80s and 90s, beat-em-ups ruled the gaming world. They gave us fast-paced action, epic co-op moments, and memories that still feel fresh today. But as time went on, many of these fantastic games got forgotten. So in this video, we're going back to celebrate 8 excellent beat-em-ups that still hold up amazingly well, focusing only on home console versions. Most Super Nintendo beat-em-up conversations start and end with Final Fight and Knights of the Round. Legend never gets mentioned. That needs to change. Released early in the Super Nintendo lifespan, Legend is a medieval hack-and-slash brawler with some of the most beautiful watercolor stage backgrounds on the entire console. The visual quality alone sets it apart from almost everything else in the genre on the platform. The combat philosophy separates Legend from its contemporaries in one fundamental way. Standard beat-em-up tactics simply do not work here. Mashing special moves gets you killed. Trying to herd all enemies to one side of the screen gets you killed. The enemy AI actively blocks your attacks, chases you across the screen when you retreat, and deploys genuinely different attack strategies depending on the enemy type. Every new enemy variant requires a genuine adjustment to how you engage. The magic system draws directly from Golden Axe, allowing you to accumulate up to 9 enchanted urns that unleash powerful area attacks. Keys collected from defeated enemies unlock treasure chests in minigames between stages, rewarding health and extra lives. Every single enemy drops a collectible, creating constant battlefield competition between combat and item gathering that keeps the chaos permanently elevated. The soundtrack sits well above average for the genre, with a recurring melody that builds genuine familiarity across the campaign. 2-player simultaneous co-op is supported, and the combat is demanding enough that having a partner genuinely changes the experience. One of the most underrated brawlers on the Super Nintendo, and almost nobody knows it exists. Nobody expected this. Streets of Rage on the Master System should not be this good, and yet it somehow delivers. Have a few beers, squint a little, and you could almost be playing the Genesis version. All 3 characters are here. The intro and character select screen are almost identical to the 16-bit original. The sprites look sharp and well animated. The game runs at a solid speed, and the punch and kick collision feels surprisingly satisfying for an 8-bit brawler. All the bosses return with their full threat level. This version even adds an extra boss in one stage that the Genesis original didn't have, which is a nice surprise for a downport. The difficulty was adjusted meaningfully. The original was often called too easy, so the Master System version fights back harder throughout. The police backup special attack is still available, though you have to pause the game to trigger it, which can be annoying when you're surrounded by knife-wielding enemies. The sacrifices are noticeable but limited. The legendary Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack didn't survive the conversion well. The 8-bit sound chip turns most tracks into something much simpler, and there's an annoying bleep every time the Jiao sign appears or you pick up an item. 2-player mode was completely removed, but as a solo experience on hardware that had no right to run this game, it's easily the best beat-em-up the Master System ever got. At first glance, River City Ransom looks like a typical NES brawler, 2 guys walking left to right and punching everyone in their way. But within minutes, it shows something completely unique that no other game on the platform was doing in 1989. Ryan's girlfriend has been kidnapped by a gang on the other side of town, and an entire city full of thugs stands in your way. Every enemy group has its own name that appears on screen, from exchange students and jocks to a dangerous crew called the Mob. The real genius is the RPG layer. Defeated enemies drop coins that you can spend in malls spread across the city. Food shops permanently boost your stats like punch power, kick power, stamina, and defense. Bookstores teach you brand new fighting moves. Every purchase actually changes how your character fights, creating real progression inside a beat-em-up. Weapons lying around the streets add even more variety. You can pick up metal pipes, chains, trash cans, and brass knuckles, throw them, and even watch them bounce off walls. The semi-realistic physics often lead to funny moments when objects fly back at you. 2-player mode makes everything better. You can accidentally hit each other, arguments happen, and splitting waves of enemies between 2 fighters is pure chaotic fun. Nobody was making brawlers like this on the NES in 1989, and honestly, no one has fully matched it since. Some games look amazing but play frustratingly. Iron Commando falls firmly into that category, and understanding why it doesn't quite work makes it more interesting than simply dismissing it. A meteorite crashes on Earth, spreading dangerous radiation. The Iron Commando Special Forces team is sent to destroy it before a terrorist group called Ghost can get their hands on it. Developed in England but released only in Japan in 1995, the game never reached Western players despite having almost no text that needed translation. The visuals are the main reason anyone still talks about Iron Commando. The sprites are among the largest and most detailed in the entire Super Nintendo beat-em-up genre. 4 or 5 enemies on screen at once never cause slowdown. Every new area brings fresh enemy types that most brawlers can't match. The bone-crunching sound effects and solid music give it a strong production feel until you actually start playing. The combat is very limited, a 3-hit combo, jump kick, throw and knee attack. Weapons drop frequently, pistols, Tommy guns, shotguns, but even unloading a full clip barely hurts basic enemies. Enemy groups love to attack you from behind while you're busy with others, creating unavoidable damage. Health does not refill between stages. 2-player co-op makes it much more bearable, but playing solo feels genuinely punishing. It's a beautiful game with broken balance. That gap between its visual ambition and gameplay polish is hard to ignore. Some games exist to remind you how incredible the beat-em-up genre felt at its absolute peak. Gekido Urban Fighters on the PS1 is one of those titles, and unfortunately almost no one talks about it anymore. The story is pure late 80s arcade style brought to a 32-bit system. Angela has been kidnapped in Neo-Tokyo by Kentaro's gang. Travis gathers 3 friends to fight through the city's slums, noodle shops, storm drains, and subway tunnels to rescue her. You get 4 playable characters with very different fighting styles. Travis is the slow but powerful brawler. Michelle is fast and military trained, the only one who can jump completely over enemies. Tetsuo delivers the quickest combos. Ushi is slow and heavy but can pick up cars and concrete flower beds to smash enemies. The enemy variety is wild. Fat chargers, knife-throwing thugs, psychotic ninjas, rabid dogs, grenade soldiers, and giant robots all appear. Enemies even pick up objects between your attacks and arm themselves before you reach them. The environmental destruction is constant. Vending machines, crates, oil drums, tires, and entire cars can be grabbed and thrown. Tires randomly explode for no reason. The combo counter yells "excellent" and "brilliant" as bodies fly across the screen. Beyond the main story, there are arena battle modes that support up to 4 players with last man standing, survival, and team battle options, unlocking 5 extra characters. The multiplayer chaos is some of the most fun the PS1 ever offered in the genre. Jellicoe spent 2 games learning how to make a good beat-em-up. The first Rushing Beat was heavily inspired by Final Fight. The sequel improved with more characters and better stages. By the third game, The Peacekeepers, they finally started innovating instead of just copying. The biggest achievement is the branching path system, which came before Final Fight 3 tried the same idea. After each stage, you choose your next route, leading to different levels and bosses. This makes every playthrough feel unique. With a secret code, you can unlock 6 playable characters, each with their own fighting style and 2 different sets of special moves on top of basic punches, kicks, and throws. One character named Dick has a hidden transformation that turns him into something that looks like a Dragon Ball Z-style demigod. The Ikari mode gives you a powerful temporary invincibility boost when things get tough, helping struggling players without making the game too easy for skilled ones. The controls make full use of the Super Nintendo controller, including a dedicated taunt button that has no combat purpose but is completely essential for the fun. Taunting enemies while surrounded never gets old. Versus mode supports up to 4 players with all 6 characters, 3 stage choices, and the ability to place weapons on the battlefield before matches start. The visuals are some of the best the Super Nintendo offered in the genre, with detailed sprites and well-designed stages that feel carefully built. Capcom bringing Final Fight to the NES in 1993 was one of the strangest decisions in gaming history. The Super Nintendo version already existed, the hardware was old, and yet the final product somehow ended up being more fun than the original it was based on. The key was not trying to copy the arcade version. Instead, Capcom completely reimagined the game with cute chibi-style character designs and over-the-top cartoonish backgrounds. Enemies casually drink sodas while waiting for you on a ship. Everything is smaller, exaggerated, and full of personality that feels unique compared to any other Final Fight game. All 3 characters are playable this time. Cody focuses on powerful punches and combo chains. Guy uses fast kicks and martial arts moves. Hagar starts stronger at level 3 but levels up slower, trading early power for a different growth curve. The experience point system is the real highlight. Every enemy gives points based on how stylishly you defeat them. Body slams, combo finishers, and special moves all score differently. As your character levels up, health increases, attacks become stronger, and you eventually unlock a powerful special move that costs health to use. This RPG layer turns a simple brawler into something with real strategic depth. The only downside is the difficulty. With 6 lives per continue and health refills between stages, it's more forgiving than challenging. But as a pure beat-em-up experience on the NES, it remains one of the best on the platform. In 1995, everyone was trying to copy the success of X-Men. Jim Lee, one of the artists who helped make X-Men comics sell millions before co-founding Image Comics, created C.A.T.s as his own superhero team, superpowered aliens protecting Earth from the evil Daemonites. The series got an animated show, action figures, and eventually this Super Nintendo beat-em-up. The soundtrack by Tommy Tallarico Studios is the standout part. The Super Nintendo version of the animated series theme on the title screen sounds impressive right away, and the music stays strong throughout the game. You get 3 playable characters with very different fighting styles. Spartan uses a laser attack that can be upgraded by collecting items from enemies. Maul delivers heavy powerful hits. Warblade has a double jump and wall climbing that shift the focus more toward platforming than pure combat. This is where the game struggles. When it sticks to beat-em-up action, it feels really good. Punches have solid impact and collision detection is reliable. But the Warblade platforming sections are frustrating because the isometric view was never designed for precise jumping. Tiny gaps, moving fans, and electrified floors become annoying obstacles. There's no multiplayer and only 3 characters from a larger roster that included cool options like Grifter and Zealot. It ends up feeling smaller than it could have been. Still, it's a flawed but genuinely fun brawler that the genre needed more of in 1995. And that's a wrap on 8 beat-em-ups that still hold up amazingly well today. From the chaotic streets of River City to the radioactive madness of Iron Commando, this genre gave us some of the most fun and satisfying gaming experiences of the 80s and 90s. Whether you're revisiting an old favorite or discovering these classics for the first time, every single one of these games is worth playing. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe for more retro content.